Cardinal George Pell appeared briefly in a Melbourne court in Australia for a pre-trial hearing. He will face a 4-week committal hearing in March next year that will determine whether he goes to trial. Some 50 witnesses are expected to give evidence, but the exact nature of the charges have not been made public. The Vatican treasurer strenuously denies the allegations. Well, for more on this, Louise Milligan joins us now from Melbourne. She's a journalist and author of The Cardinal, The Rise and Fall of George Pell. Good to speak to you. So how is this all going down with the Australian public there?
I think people are quite fascinated that someone of George Pell's rank in the Catholic Church, someone who has been a lion in the sort of landscape of the Catholic Church in Australia, you know, is now facing such serious criminal charges, and there are numerous charges involved, although we still don't know the nature of them. They haven't been made public. George Pell, it's really hard to overestimate the impact that he's had on this culture. He was the Archbishop of Melbourne, then he was the Archbishop of Sydney, then promoted to Cardinal, and he's someone who has always been very forthright in his opinions. He's someone who advocated a return to a muscular form of Catholicism, a more conservative form of Catholicism, and was very, very forthright in expressing his opinions. And so he tends to kind of divide Australian culture, the people that love him and the people that hate him. And so whenever he's in the news for any reason, there's a lot of debate attached to it. So you can imagine, given the nature of these charges, that it's extremely controversial. The other thing is he was in the Catholic Church in Australia. He was at the top of the Catholic Church in Australia at a time when a royal commission was called into child abuse, and so he's been in the spotlight, you know, around what he knew about those sorts of issues for some time.
And what impact will it have on religious communities in Australia?
I think people are kind of divided. So there are those Catholics who are very strong supporters of George Pell's, and they believe that this can only be some sort of anti-Catholic witch hunt. But there are lots of others who think that, you know, the legal process has to take its place as it would with any other defendant in the criminal trial. But you know, the fact that this issue more generally has been such a big thing in the Australian sort of social landscape for the past few years means that I think people are ready to accept that, you know, the court should look into this, that it's appropriate that the police should investigate this if people have come forward.
Yes, and do you get the sense that the church is becoming more transparent in dealing with these issues? That it's becoming more transparent?
Sorry, that who's becoming more transparent?
The church.
The church?
Yes.
Yes, certainly. With the Royal Commission into institutional responses to child abuse, there was a big hearing earlier this year here in Australia, and all of the archbishops of Australia got up and basically said that we have not dealt with this issue effectively and that we need to deal with it more effectively. And basically they said that there had been criminal negligence on behalf of the hierarchy of the church. Now, I should caution that we're not talking about George Pell there, but more about the church as an institution. And so it's something that they have been willing to open up to more generally, but at the same time there's a bit of a feeling that they're under siege, and I think it's been a very difficult time for ordinary Catholics and for the hierarchy.